Tears of the Kingdom is one of the best games of all time, but pretty much all the content I'm seeing right now is like this. People aren't talking about this beautiful, lush, open world we have. Instead, they're doing things like this. Maybe you'll have a little more sympathy for them when you know the whole story of the Koroks, so let's get into the unnecessary Korok discussion, where I give you some interesting tidbits about Koroks that you probably didn't know, and maybe, just maybe, you can have a little bit of a heart for them. My guy doesn't deserve this. Please. So you might be wondering, where does the name Korok even come from? What is a Korok, and how does that tie in with the world of Zelda? Well, in Japanese folklore, there are these things called Korok Koru. And I'm sorry for my pronunciation on that. I tried my best, but it was not good, and I will admit that. But these are said to be small creatures that hide in the forest. I mean, boom bang, same deal. So that's obviously what they're based off of. And so we'll use that base to expand your knowledge of the Korok universe as a whole, because it gets pretty deep. According to the Zelda wiki, Koroks are small, wooden people who wear leaf masks over their faces. Their personalities may differ greatly and are often reflected in their masks. They are spirits who are watched over by the Great Deku Tree, and they are protectors of the forest in which they live. So what it's saying here is that Koroks are the protectors of the forest. They are spirits of the Deku Tree, and they work for the Deku Tree to make sure that the forest is up to snuff. Not all that different to how Mickey is my boss right now, and I'm a worker for the mouse. They're workers for the Deku Tree. Am I a Korok? No one will ever know. So these small wooden homies are a huge part of Tears of the Kingdom, it seems, mostly because they're walking around with these big boy backpacks, which completely immobilize them. So it's basically your job to just unite them with their buddies. Jokes aside, I really do love how they are utilized in this game. It feels like a lot more fun than how we just kind of randomly stumbled upon them in Breath of the Wild. Because in that game, if you remember, you just pick up a rock or something and then bam, they're under it. You get a Korok seed and that's it. Those simple Koroks are still in Tears of the Kingdom, but this game is also a lot more focused on the backpack Koroks like we talked about earlier, which I will say is a lot of fun. It makes you think outside the box of how you want to transfer them, and it allows you to get pretty creative with it. The Koroks are also said to be transformed forms of the Kokiri, which is a tribe of childlike inhabitants who reside in the Kokiri forest, and the Kokiri themselves are said to be the original Hylians. When the Hylians were first developing civilization and industrializing, the Kokiri chose to live closer to nature and distance themselves from the growing cities. So this is interesting because the Koroks can be traced all the way back to the Hylians, meaning that they do still have some Hylian genes in them. What does that mean for the canon? I don't know. Leave me your theories down below. The Korok culture itself is very interesting. The Koroks hold ceremonies every year, and not the ones where they are ritualistically sacrificed or crucified, but where the Deku Tree actually sprouts, forest tree sprouts, that the Koroks are then put in charge of planting. But the catch here is that they have to plant all of them at the same time in order to expand the Great Forest and appease the Deku Tree. However, before they plant the seeds, the noble Korok, Makar, must play his violin for the Great Deku Tree. We can see that a lot of their culture and who they are has been shaped by their association with the Deku Tree. After taking a class of anthropology, I can correctly identify that much of their culture and identity is tied to the Deku Tree, and by association, the rest of the forest. This is showing a little bit of nurture versus nature, because they are nurtured to be brought up by the forest, but in nature, they are still Hylians if we trace it back, and we're going with the Kokiri, which were Hylians who distanced themselves, and now their spirits are the Koroks, and those spirits, their nature is Hylian-like, maybe. I don't actually know, but that's what I'm saying, so. But in Tears of the Kingdom, we can often find them out and about in places other than the Korok forest, and this tends to be quite puzzling. Are they trapped there waiting to be freed by Link so that they can return to the Korok forest, or have they grown independent of the tree and they're seeking to reshape their identity? Only time will tell. But now, I'm going to leave you with the trivia stated on the Korok wiki. Being plant-based creatures, Koroks fear vegetarians. Honestly, as they should. Vegans are wild. You don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to make a song about Gordon Ramsay. And that's going to cause some uproar, I'm sure. And if a Korok makes a song, it's going to be a bop. but it better not be about vegans. But I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something or two. Let me know what shocked you the most. And I will see you in this video where I rank all the Zelda games according to my own opinion. It's mine. It's my personal flippin' opinion.